Alright, some of you guys will probably know what this is. Alright, well, I started doing the video and then the battery went dead, seeing that I wasn't looking through the monitor, which I have to get used to doing that. I didn't notice it, but the battery was dead and I'm talking to myself. Well, I talk to myself a lot anyway, so it's no big deal. Anyway, what is it? It's a laminator. It laminates. It'll laminate up to a 38 inch piece. 38 inches brings me right about here on each side. It's not a heat laminate, so it doesn't work with heat. It's just pressure. It works off of rollers. It has two sets of rollers here. One is a drive roller, which is the one down the bottom. The top one is the one that applies the pressure. You adjust these knobs to turn down the roller onto the other one, applying pressure, so when the laminate comes through, it pushes it down and whatever your media is to it. It has a foot switch. Some people use it for a knee, on a knee switch instead. So, how it works, right now as you can see, there's space under there. Because it's been sitting, I didn't want to have pressure on it because then I'd end up with a flat spot on the roller. So I lifted it up so that the rollers are off. Now the rollers also have springs on them to keep it up. So that's there. What happens is this comes through. The back peels off and attaches to this. It's belt driven, so it works in sync with one another. One doesn't turn any faster or any slower. They both turn equal. And what happens is, as it's turning, it's rolling up the back part of the paper, you know, separating it from the sticky part. You lay your sticky part on, and it just runs through, and away it goes. And that's kind of how it works. Now, the problem being is I don't use this, nor do I really have a need for it anymore. I've probably got about 100, maybe 150 feet of media there, laminate. So I'm trying to think, what can I do with it? I mean, I hate to tear it apart for parts. Now, I'm sure there's plenty of good parts in there that I can use for something. However, I hate to wreck a good machine. I mean, when I bought this, it cost me quite a bit of money. Now, who knows, because it's, you know, it's not one of the better ones, but I didn't do a lot of laminate anyway, so I didn't care. It worked, it did what I had to do. What I did was I had it built into a bench, and I had plywood with Formica type counter. They came right up to it, and it came right out, 8 foot in each direction, so I was able to work it, you know, without a problem, which was nice. But anyway, if it ran faster, I'd think, okay, I can use it to either make a drill press, you know, by taking it apart, using the motor, mounting the motor on the top, so I can use it as a drill press. If it ran faster, I can use it as a lathe, but, you know, a lathe. But at this point, it doesn't run very fast. It's not made to run fast. However, it does have a lot of torque. But again, you know, that's not going to help me. So I'm undecided. Do I pull it apart, utilize what I can, and get rid of it? Or do I try just putting it on Craigslist and try to sell it? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't even really know what they're going for anymore. I don't know. I haven't researched it to see if they're still out there. I bought it probably 9 years ago, 10 years ago. I used it maybe a dozen times. As you can tell, that's the original roll of laminate up there. So I mean, like I said, I never really had a use for it. I was going to buy a big laminate machine that had the glue backing and all that kind of crap, but I don't use it enough, and I wasn't using it enough to justify the cost of that, so I just didn't do it. And I'm glad I didn't. Otherwise, I'd have, you know, a $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 laminate machine sitting here instead of a $2,000 machine. So, But anyway, that's where I'm at. So I got to decide what I actually want to do with it. If I can find a place to keep it up here in the shop, set up, so if I do have to laminate something, I can. You know, then therefore I may, because like I say, if I wanted to, whoop, sorry guys, whoop, yeah, beat you up, why don't I? When I laminated this, I had to put it on by hand. I cut a piece of that material and I put it on here by hand, and actually you see a couple of bubbles and things. It's hard working with a big sheet of this stuff. And this is paper, so I couldn't wet it, you know, to get the bubbles out. Where if I had the machine, I'd be able to run this right through the machine. You know, it's on a piece of, you know, thin plywood, but the machine takes it. I can adjust the machine. You know, I can put a piece of laminate on a piece of 1/2 inch if I wanted to. So if I can find a home for it where it's really not going to be in my way, and I'm thinking I possibly may have a home. This corner right here, this was going to be my little gun area, but I since changed that. So this is more or less going to be a dead area. So this may be a spot for it until I decide exactly what I want to do with it. I have this, but I may be taking this bench down. I don't know yet. But anyway, there's a lot I don't know yet. I still have this area, but this area is actually going to be for the guns. So I don't want to take this down. So anyway, and then there's another roll of media here, which is a laminate. Alright, so that's what my dilemma is. So we'll see what happens. Take it one step at a time. Finished the holster, by the way. I just got to clean these up. And I'm working on the ugly ballon. Well, you know what? I'm going to stop here before I make a long video. Alright. Got this thing up and running. I am not going to destroy it just yet. I may or may not think about selling it. Do I have a need for it? I haven't in 6 years. But a month or so ago, I could have used it when I laminated this. Would it have been worth it? Well, you know what? If it's here and it's not in the way, it's not eating, is it worth keeping around? Well, yeah, I guess. You know, I mean, it would have been worth it just for that alone. But, I don't know. I may just put it on Craigslist. If it sells, it sells. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I mean, it's just one of those things. But I'm not ready to destroy it just yet. I will put it over there. It can be used. The only problem being is, with this size media, because I was using this for large stuff, laminate, I have to use what they call a sled. A sled, which I haven't got, used to, but it's now on the floor. I've been there for years. It's a piece of plastic, like 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch thick. And it's a size, it's actually a little bit bigger than that. And it's 3 feet long. And I would put my product on that, on the sled, and push it through, because the plastic, again, does not stick to plastic. I mean, the sticky stuff doesn't stick to plastic. That's why it's also hard to glue plastics together, because you have to weld them, so to speak. So you need a glue that actually melts into the plastics, because plastic has a wax in it of sort. So, you know, it's hard to glue to wax. So that's why there's issues sometimes with plastics. Anyway, I'm probably going to hang on to it for now. I just got to find a place for it. I will put it over there, and if I have to use it for something big, I will have to pull it out, because as I say, as I'm pushing the sled through, it's taking up 3 or 4 feet behind you as well. So it can't be mounted against a wall on a shelf or something like that. this should be mounted out with at least, you know, 4 or 5 feet on each side of it. I used to have 8 feet on each side of it because I had plywood with a piece of Formica countertop level with this so that everything ran smoothly all the way across. But anyway, never mind what I had, it's what I've got now. I've got problems. so I'm thinking of possibly making a way of putting it on some type of a roller table, or making that corner, taking it apart and putting something like this over there, which is on wheels, or even this, which is on wheels. I just don't want to put this over there because I got other plans for that, and that's a good piece of material. That's a good counter. That eventually will be my welding table, or I may even make this the welding table. But anyway, put something like that over there, so if I do have to use it, all I gotta do is wheel it out and turn it, and I have the whole length here to work with. So that would be one of my options.